Welcome back. Week 11.
Oh, man.
G squared.
G squared. I took a week off, but here we are. We're back.
Garrett has the most welcoming back because we hadn't seen him in a little bit. Cheers. What we like is consistency on this show.
Our porch.
I want to give a shout out to Brew. Stepped in great yesterday. Did a great job.
Yeah, last week's segment was pretty fucking funny. It was good. It was really funny. You can refer to me as Hillary now. I'm probably going to put that as my team name from now on.
The political party's assessment was probably my favorite segment that we've done. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and honestly, it kind of gives me a reason to call you by certain characters, so that's the way too. So, like, Hillary,
I'll take it.
tell us about your weekend. Tell us what's up.
Well, with the game or with the...
No, just in general. Like,
Just in general?
Let's recap. Like, let's build some commerce with our friends. You know?
Yeah, so took the week off. I'm planning on going to school for welding. Yeah, I just had to take some time off to do some like focus on myself kind of thing.
So no more guessing what Garrett's job is that week segment.
I have a plan, and I have every
plan.
Yeah, like I'm set on this thing. So yeah, sorry I wasn't here last week, but I'm all set now. We're good to go.
So, sneak peek to our middle segment. We're not gonna probably do a show next week with Thanksgiving and everything going on.
That's fair.
The Hitmen and the High Risk High Rewards are gonna be in Charleston. With my sister, we're gonna have pre-Thanksgiving there. We have Thanksgiving Thursday, and yada yada. Like, if we do a video, it'll probably be short and sweet, so we won't have like a big video segment. Now next week is Thanksgiving.
Don't even put it on yourself to do one.
Hint, hint. Next week is Thanksgiving, so our middle segment might be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But we had a special guest that wanted to be involved today, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
What else you got, Garrett?
Um.
You miss everybody? You feeling good about being fucking
I'm 5-5 right now.
From the Graven, I told everybody all year, like, oh, Garrett had a bad draft. Like, don't worry about it. Garrett's 2-5. Don't worry about it. He's gonna come back.
I got a 60%
always
chance.
does.
I got a 60% chance right now to make the playoff.
Honestly, I would bet
And-
on, like, as much as I shit on you because I think
Here
it's
we go.
funny. And oh god, your team was bad a few weeks back. But I would, if I had money on it, I would bet on you like every year to minimum make playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you're good at what you do. Like you've proven time and time again. You know what you're doing. Like you wait it out. You don't hit the panic button. Like you figure it out. You pay attention. You get the guys at right prices. You make the right trades. Like.
Even if it's...
I respect that. I'm not dogging you.
No.
You've done a lot more in this league than I have.
I
mean,
made a trade for Cordell Patterson like a month ago, and people were like, oh, yeah, they just blew it off, like, whatever. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, shit. You know, he's got... And then, like, Justin Fields pickup. So I got Justin Fields, Cordell Patterson.
Justin Fields has been the surprise of the league.
Dude.
And honestly, I almost feel bad for the Hitmen because...
We
might have shit on him on this show about that.
Yeah.
We might have.
I think
we both did.
Yeah.
I think we were like, get Justin Fields off your team. The Bears fucking suck.
Yeah.
Sit with Brady. Pick up somebody else. And Justin Fields is the best quarterback in the league right now.
Fantasy-wise, yes.
Because their defense sucks. Like, they lost, like...
It's not
There's
just
no
that.
reason why they should have lost the Lions, but they did. Because their defense is miserable.
Yeah, like, exactly. So, like... He can throw for like 100 yards, but he'll run for 200 with like 4 touchdowns.
Right.
So like
he had a 60-yard rushing touchdown the other day.
And it was like, so with him running, the way the points work in fantasy, it's like, so every 10 yards is 1 point.
Correct.
And then you add the throwing and the running and touchdowns. That's 2 weeks in a row with 40 plus.
It's a cheat code, dude.
Yes.
How are you? How are you feeling about your team going forward? Like, you excited? Like, you think you're like your max out effort is going to be like make the playoffs and you're happy, or do you think you could like
As of right
be
now,
back in the championship?
I just want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if the playoffs start and I have this roll going still, I mean, sky's the limit, really. I mean, I don't know. I have to get to that point first, though. I have a good chance to make it the playoffs, but I'm not set on it yet because I still have some matchups to go, and I don't know how that's going to work. But
Do you know who you're playing?
this week,
No, the next like few weeks.
I know I play Gordo this week. I play Mark, I think the week after this, and I think it's my mom, and I think that's it. Yeah.
So we were talking with our guest earlier about trades and the trade deadline. I just looked it up. It was November 30th. So
Okay.
today's the 16th. We have exactly 2 weeks before the trade deadline. So that gives you, there's 4 games left. That means that with 2 weeks left in the season, trades are over. Which I think that's pretty fair. I mean, it's the same setting the Mother League does.
It's right. It's right.
And it
before the
gives
playoffs
you,
start.
yeah, but
it's
you're not doing it like the week of the playoffs or
Yeah.
anything like that. So there's no collusion or whatever. But it gives you time to like, if you want to make a last minute trade or something.
Yeah.
Like, I will be. We've already went through this the first 2 years, so I don't feel like we have to worry about it as much. But I definitely like knowing that I can veto trades. Like, if you try to do some collusion bullshit, like that's fine, but like I'm gonna veto it. So like, it's just make sure it's fair, that betters both teams or whatever. Like, I don't care if Jensen's offering a shot. Like, it's not how we're gonna do it anymore. Like, we're actually a real league, and yeah. Another thing we were talking about earlier, free agent budget. So we don't do this in our league. But my other league that we do, basically, like every year you start with $50 fantasy dollars. And how that works is that you have a certain amount of money that you bid on a player. Now, like, all right, for instance, like, I like the fact that if you're in last place, you get waiver priority over first place. So, like, if you're betting on the guy that just had a crazy week, you're going to get him over Troika because Troika's in first place. I'm okay with that. But what I think what could make it more fun, is having a budget. So you get $50 fantasy dollars. So say you like this guy okay, or you like him alright, whatever. Doesn't matter what place you're in. It does, like, so say if we both bet $5 on it, if I'm a lower record than you, then I'm gonna get him.
Right.
But you have $50 fantasy dollars. Say like you just bet like $1 for every guy you pick up all year because you're just picking up the lame pickups like a defense or a kicker. Honestly, technically, you don't have to bet any money. You can do $0. But then you get that one guy, and what I did in my other league, I had $30 left. I saved it all to the end of the season, and I finally found a guy. I was waiting all year, like, who's going to be the breakout guy? And it was Watson from Green Bay, the receiver. I bet $29 on him, so I knew I had. So, like, I think that there should be a way for the top teams in our league to still be able to pick up talent after halfway through the season. Because, like, and this is no offense to you, you're good at what you do, but I think that the rules benefit teams like Garrett in a sense because their record is lower. They pay attention a lot. So, like, whenever people start getting better and there's waiver wire pickups, he can add them and he's going to get them before you because he has a worse record than you. So I think that there should be some kind of... I think it's fair to an extent, but I also think that there should be some kind of competition with that, and I think fantasy money would be well used for that.
I like it. I think it's a great idea. And it makes you want to draft better.
Correct.
Because then you just save your money and do all this. And then next thing you know, you have a guy like Justin Fields, and you're like, oh, shit, I'm just going to put all my money on that guy.
Right.
And
because
the
it
next
wouldn't
thing you
be
know-
so, like, if Justin Fields is like somebody bet $30 on, right? Or it's just like in our league, it's just like, oh, I shouldn't even bet on him because I'm 6-4. The 2-8 teams are gonna be able to get him,
Yeah.
and that's where I think that, like, if you have money involved with it, it's like, oh, who spent their money the right way? who has more money or whatever. Because like you could have spent all your money early in the season picking up all these people, like Jensen, like thinking too much about it and not having shit for money at the end of the year. Whereas you saved up money for this. I don't care what your record is. You could be the first place team, last place team, but you planned on like going all in on one person whenever they showed out.
Yep.
And I think you should get rewarded for that because that's strategy.
Yep.
So,
The only
having said all that, without our guest speaker trying to reveal himself, which he keeps trying to do, you want to talk about last week's games?
Yeah, let's go for it. Where do you want to start?
It was week 10. Sorry, I'm on week 11. This laptop's really slow. We can start with my game if you want. There's not really much to talk about. I said it in the last week's video. I needed this win a lot more than Tank. Tank was coming off his best week of the season with Joe Mixon going off. Joe Mixon's on a bye this week. Tank had a couple players out. It's not his fault. But I got all my squad back. I was healthy. Coming off a queef loss to the Witch. I needed like a revenge game win, and I just thought like this was the week for it, and it wasn't close.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams looked good, but
yeah,
I mean,
Devontae Adams is the thing with him is AJ Brown didn't show up, which is kind of surprising because they played the Commanders, and he did nothing. But yeah. I feel like if he showed up, it probably would have been closer, but I think you still probably would have won by at least 10. At least 10.
I mean,
but
if AJ Brown got 30, I would have won by 10.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if
this game wasn't close.
If he did.
All right, so like Tank started Eno Benjamin, who got 0 and was dropped.
And he got traded, or he got waived.
Yeah,
he's on the Texans now.
Zach Ertz got hurt.
So.
I feel for him on that. Zach Ertz got hurt. I think like a big thing, and this is always kind of shitty. It's like this is a gut punch. This kicker got him 0. You know why? He missed an extra point. That's always like a fucking.
I'm not gonna lie. My 3-game winning streak that I'm on right now, the kickers have been the wins for me in those 3 weeks. I played Shoei. I was only winning by like 8 when I played Shoei. His kicker gave him negative. Last week, Troika, his kicker didn't get enough. And then this past week, the kicker...
2 games. That relied on the
and then his kicker gave him negative last week for the person I was playing against. So it was like, you know what? That's crazy.
Kickers can make or break you, dude.
Yeah. Same with the defense.
This was actually ended up being the game of the week, points-wise.
Yeah.
Mark and Michelle. Mark is now sitting 7-3, second in the league. Michelle's still fine. She's 6-4. She was all butthurt at the bar, like, I'm gonna lose. And I was like, oh, why are you crying? I was like, I'm gonna lose. I was like, well, you're gonna keep crying because I'm playing you next week. You're gonna lose again. But I got the shit talk rolling a little bit early, so we'll talk about that later. But Mark, it's very. What I will say is that in a week that Herbert underperforms, Etienne underperforms, Otten, whatever, Lazard, whatever, when all these guys don't do what they're expected to do and you still win, like, that's huge. And CeeDee Lamb was the story of this game.
Yeah. And I've been trying to tell my mom for the past month and a half is when Edwards-Helaire was starting to suck it up and everything, I was like, trade him. Trade him. Everyone needs a running back. Trade him at that point. You probably would have got something good for him. But no, she was like, no. And next thing you know, she's struggling trying to find a receiver. She's trying to find a good flex receiver position. Like, if you start Donovan Peoples-Jones as your number 2 receiver, you're missing something. I totally get where she's like, in like I don't know. Like, And the suck up didn't do anything. But it's like if
Here's
her goal is just to make the playoffs, but it's like if you get another good receiver with Amari Cooper, you could probably win the thing. You have Patrick Mahomes, and now Herbert's hurt. You have Mahomes, Henry, Amari Cooper, Higbee. Now that Cooper Kupp's out, you have a good, solid foundation to get another decent receiver in there. If you would just trade.
So we talked about earlier, or a second ago, how much kickers matter, right? Michelle lost by 5 points. Ryan Suckup got her 3.
Yep.
He's gotten 3 in one other game. One other game he's gotten 3. So 2 games this year he's gotten 3. He played 10 games. Ready? You want to hear the other numbers? She lost by 5. I want you to remember that. She lost by 5. The kicker got 3. Let's hear the other numbers. See how much kickers make a difference. Week 1, 15, 10, 8, 8, 8, 14. That was the other 3, 10, and 12.
3.
Ryan Suckup's been amazing.
Yeah.
The better the Bucks do, the worse Michelle's team's going to do because Brady's finally doing better. Well, that's amazing to me. That is 15, 10.
Even if he got 8.
14, 8, 3 weeks in a row.
If you got 8.
10, 12. Like, that's numbers, dude. Like, that's just numbers that, like, my dad was hoping that Brady would get that hasn't been hitting. Like, Brady got 15 this week, and I was like, oh, great, and it still wasn't enough. Like, and this is the numbers that Michelle's been getting from her kicker. Her Giants defense, they showed up. They got 12. So it's like Michelle wins, not necessarily like, her team reminds me a lot of my dad's team last year. Like, you have a great quarterback, you have a good defense, a good kicker, and a great running back. And then you figure it out from there, right? But look what happened. The kicker didn't show up, and Derrick Henry got 7. That's the story of this week.
I do got to say, though, the Patriots defense was on a bye. And the way they've been going recently.
Her defense got her 12.
But the way the Patriots defense is, they honestly give you about 18
That's on our
plus
team.
a week.
That's on our team.
Lamb won it.
Just 3 defense. Oh, my God. Well, just 3 defenses on our roster. My bad. Good luck picking up a defense next week. Michelle's going to be all right, and I think that was a huge win for Mark. I think it kind of showed that he's here to stay. Yeah. The Hitman, I feel awful. Like I said, no, hey, goodbye. That's kind of it. Like,
I really thought he was going to pull it out.
Started off great. With he needs a miracle to make the playoffs. He has to win out, and he needs help. I honestly think if anybody can do it, it's him. With the Watson pickup. Talk about that later. But because I'm actually still and like this has a lot to do with my own team, but they're going into a bye and they're figuring out, and they're 5-5 now, and they're first place in their division. I think the Bucks are gonna figure it out. I think Brady and all the other bullshit drama, like, it just took a while for them to get it. But last second touchdown to win 2 weeks ago, and then going to Germany. And then winning against a really good Seahawks team.
Nope.
And them having their best offensive day in a while. Like, I love that. And I
think that they have their best game overseas.
So,
if you bring it back and do the same thing.
I think, like, if you look at their schedule, I think it benefits them.
Never count on Brady. Never.
Exactly. Like, he fucking lives off of that shit.
Yeah. I don't know how someone does that, but.
Just live off pressure. The story of this game, Greg did what he was going to do. You know, Jacobs delivered.
Pollard.
Geno Smith pretty much got what he's been giving Greg all season, like that 17 or whatever, and that's been great, honestly. Like, no one would have expected that, and I think that's what separates people in this league is that, like, you either go early on a quarterback or you get lucky on one late or you on waiver wire, and Greg's found the guy that's been consistent for him. And that makes a big deal, you know, because you have an extra spot for somebody else. My dad got super lucky. Greg had this game in hand, and there were so many things that had to pan out in these 4 o'clock games for him to have a chance. And Cooper Kupp got hurt, so he only got him 1.4 points. Josh Jacobs went off a little bit in the second half. Pollard went off big time in the second half. but he was still in range because of Kyle Pitts being doo-doo and Juju ended up getting hurt.
I want to talk
So,
about
like,
that
he
later.
was still in range to have a chance. Down 20, you got Kittle and Ayuk, and you're just like, dude, like, this is, if you're going to have a chance to upset one of the better teams in our league, this is it. And San Francisco just dropped the ball. Especially, like, more so on that point, Brandon Ayuk dropped the ball, and I love Ayuk, but I started in my other league. I lost by 3. Ayuk had a fucking slant route in the end zone. Bounce off his fucking chest. I'm like, my dad wouldn't have beaten Greg on that, but
I want to talk about
that's 7 points right there, and he lost by 8. Like, I mean, so it would have, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I lost on that in my other league. I lost by 3 because Ayuk dropped the fucking. Honestly, no, actually, technically, because we do fucking half point PPR in this league. So 0.5, it was 15 yards, 15. So 1.5 plus 0.5 is 2, plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 95.8 is what? 103.8. He would have beaten him by 0.1. Oh my god!
wow.
He would have beaten him by 0.1. Holy shit! Brandon Ayuk dropped the ball for 2 teams in 2 leagues, both Hoinses. The Hoinses have it out for you, Ayuk, dude. Oh my god! You know what sucks in my other league? I have to start him, and but no one even talked about that either. Like, you read like the little. That's the problem. That's the problem with like
crazy.
people that talk about projections and stuff. If you don't watch the games, you don't know. If you don't watch the games, if you don't watch the game, if you don't watch the games, you don't know though, right? So I was reading the shit about Ayuk, and it was like, other than a fumble, which was -2, number 1 too. He had a fucking fumble that was -2. But it was like, other than that, that was his only blemish. He had all these targets and all these receptions, so look forward to keep him doing whatever. It's like, no one said that, like, other than the fucking slant route, fucking 10-yard touchdown, they dropped on his fucking chest on 3rd down. Like, other than that, they didn't say anything about that.
That's
I hate
play.
that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, because
That's
I
big.
was glued to
That's
the TV. I was working that night, Sunday. I never work Sunday nights. So I was working that, and Vanessa was there, and I was, oh my god, you fucking kidding me? And I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and everybody was like, is he all right? And she was just like, yeah, it's just like his fantasy thing. Because I literally looked at Vanessa, I was like, all right, V, we're in Ayuk territory. Because I couldn't, at that point in the game, it was late enough in the game, or I couldn't beat the guy I was playing on yards. You know, I needed a touchdown. Right. And I was like, right here around like 8-10 yard line. Perfect Ayuk territory. Run a little slant route right there. I called the play. And then they ran a slant route, and he looked at him, and he hit him in the hit him in the chest, and it bounced off his damn shoulder. It bounced off his pads. So bad. So they kicked a field goal. So whoever had Robbie Gold in whatever leagues, like, you're welcome for that. But then, like, the people, like I said, I'm giving all my cards away like I always do. But the people that read the little, like, after the fact, like, oh, Ayuk had a great game, like, typing it up. No, Ayuk did not have a great game. Ayuk could have won 2 people their games in 2 different leagues.
Wasn't it later in the game when he caught a ball at the 1 yard line?
Yes.
Yeah. So
insult to injury. I want to talk about that one.
He almost had 2 touchdown catches.
Don't want to talk about that one.
And yeah.
Also, my other league, I had Justin Jefferson. Remember he scored the touchdown, and then they called it back, so then they had to do QB sneak. They didn't get.
Dude, that was a crazy.
That's another 6 points they got called back.
Crazy game.
That's another 6
he
points.
He did have one of the. I think is up there for the greatest catch of the year.
Absolutely.
That one where he caught it one-handed over the guy.
You ready for this?
I'm
gonna list you off my team out of the league.
Oh man.
I got Burrow and Tua is my backup. Mixon, Jamal Williams, or James Robinson if you want to throw him in there. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, Chris Godwin's my flex. I'm 4-6.
Oh, you missed it, Stephon Diggs.
I'm 4-6. 4-6
with all those players.
Brandon Ayuk. Chase is out, so Brandon Ayuk is my little.
It's bad. 4-6. It's crazy when you have Brandon Ayuk on the bench.
I'm 4-6,
and he's mostly a starter, which is crazy.
I'm 4-6 because I play a bunch of witches in my league. Scored the 2nd most points in the league. No one else scored over 100. Score 115, lost 118, 115. I'm sorry. I know y'all want to hear about my league. I'm a little frustrated. I apologize.
This game.
Talk about it, Garrett.
So, JC. You're actually coming alive. You're not counting out yet on the playoff?
Was that you beating this meeting or was that Holly?
It's tough. Anyway. But yeah, you came out and fucking showed out against Gordo. Showed out. And now you're actually ahead of Gordo.
Sorry.
You're actually ahead of Gordo in the standings, which is absolutely insane. Because the way Gordo was trending, a month ago, he was trending insanely up. But now Gordo probably won't even make the playoffs. He has to beat me this week, but we'll get to that later. For JC, Jonathan Taylor finally showed up. Finally showed up this year with his 24.3, which he's gotten over 21 times this whole year. He's gotten twice in the whole year so far. He's gotten over 20 points.
I'll do it again.
He's finally healthy. Jeff Saturday is the head coach now, and I think so far they beat Vegas, which is weird because I actually thought Vegas was actually going to do something this year, but they beat Vegas, which is a bad team. Christian Kirk had a great week. Gordo. I don't really know where to start with your team. No one showed up. I mean, your highest player was your kicker. That's kind of that sucks. Kenneth Walker's going against Tampa Bay, Kenneth Walker's been your highest scoring player in the past probably all year. You went out and got Heineke, and he gave you 11. Not bad. It's just I don't know. But JC, you know what?
Shut up, Garrett.
But JC, keep fighting, dude. You never know. You're only like 3 games. You have to win out. If JC wins out the rest of the year, he could possibly make the playoffs.
That's why I gotta beat.
Which is crazy. Cause 2 weeks ago he was what, 1-7 or something like that? It's insane.
If you beat him, you are the one who's gonna have a clear shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's done.
Yeah. But no, JC, if he wins out, dude, he's got a good shot. He's 4-6.
Where are we at?
Talk about JC probably making the playoffs. He has a shot.
I think the JC dude.
He has a shot.
If you just win, you make the playoffs.
No, if Jonathan Taylor plays like that, he might make the playoffs. If he plays that every single week.
If you do your job, he will be out of the playoffs.
Who's our guest pick? How will we know? Well, if you do your job, you'll make the playoffs. Wow,
come on, I can't be silent
the spoiler alert. He sounds like meh. All right, get zapped. Let's go, baby. Garrett Seam on the fucking. We gotta speed this up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Garrett Seam is on the rise. Jerry Seam is on the fall. Jerry, I love you. I loved your team the whole year. I can't defend it anymore. You know what really sucks? He was at the bar, and he had Sammy Watkins in his lineup, which we do need to research that on our break. See how many points he scored. And I really fingers crossed it wasn't more than 3.8. So that's why I'm going to start Marvin Jones over him. Or pick up anybody over him.
Yeah.
So he picked up Marvin Jones, who had one really great catch, but the Jaguars just kind of suck. So that was all on one catch. It was a 33-yard catch.
Oh, shit.
It was a diving, it was amazing. I actually watched it live. That's what sucks about the show is I say something and then I start rooting for teams based on what I said. So then on Sunday, I'm rooting for, I'm in 2 leagues, so I'm rooting for both my teams, and I'm rooting for things to happen that make sure that hey, I told you to start that guy. I want them to do good. So I start paying more attention to the people that like I give advice to than my own team. Like,
You know, shit out for Jerry that actually showed up this year finally. Dalton Schultz. He actually did something this week.
Dalton Schultz is so queasy.
He actually did something.
I love the Titans defense for you. I love that Mostert actually went off, and I think that the better the Dolphins do, the better that move looks.
DJ Moore shit the bag.
Jamal Williams, I have him in my other league, and he is James Conner from last year. He'll just fall in the end zone. Diggs, and Eckler 3-3. Hey, it's 3-3 now. We got a few weeks left to see which one benefited. Patterson sucked, but like that was just the pace of the game. I think that's still like him on your lineup still looks good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Fields, if he can carry you for a few weeks, that's amazing.
The thing with Fields is like I feel like one day one of these weeks he's just gonna fall back. He's gonna fall down to earth again.
Was the Darius Slayton thing like fake?
No, I actually got him because of Daniel Jones.
No, but is it fake though? Like, do you trust that, or are you just gonna like use him just if you have like a buy or something?
Probably on a buy or
17 looks. I didn't look into it, but comeback kid's got raped.
Yeah, he did. That's 2 losses in a row by Troika.
No, he has Chase out, Wilson on a buy.
But you still had Eckler.
Eckler didn't do shit. I
Still
know that.
had Miles Sanders.
I know Eckler didn't do shit because Greg. Yeah. Knock on this door and use this bathroom. Okay. Yeah, your wife like clogged the shit out of that one and fuck.
Oh, she is so gonna fucking kill you. Oh man, you are dead.
But so Eckler didn't show out. Miles Sanders didn't do shit. Like he had a lot of players that do nothing for him, which kind of sucks. But
Vanessa was like, "What's the password?" Just kidding. Dude, I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't like either one of these teams. I think they're both fake. I mean, they're both really good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
They're playoff teams for sure.
For right now, we got to cut it short. We're just going to say they're fake. Finally, from the grave, fuck you, Jensen. Joey finally showed up. Joey set a lineup. He fucking went with it. He showed that Justin Jefferson's the best fucking wide receiver in the league. Vanessa was like, Justin Jefferson is trending on Facebook right now. I was like, God damn right he is. He's amazing.
That catch he had, that was unbelievable.
James Conner fell in the end zone a few times. Singletary looked good.
Kadarius
Nico,
Toney.
look at Joey and Nico Collins. I didn't even know that guy was a person. And he has him at flex with 13.4. Good for Joey. That means Joey's paying attention. I didn't know that guy was a guy.
And this guy right here, Kadarius Toney.
He's got Tony too, who's going to be a stud.
Yes. He's probably going to be a really good flex player.
Exactly.
Later on
and like if Joey works his team right, he had Elijah Moore on the bench. Dude, if Joey works his team right the rest of the way, watch out. At very minimum, he's going to keep people out of the playoffs.
Yes. He's going to be a spoiler.
Joey, I love it. I hope you made the playoffs because I've been rooting for you all year. Even though I called you Trump's family the other day. I love you. I got your back. And stay tuned, guys, because like I said, Thanksgiving's coming up soon. Preview for segment 2.